Welcome to the Strategy Mob Podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know to stay in the know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here with Digital Dealership Solutions. Today I have a very special guest, Mr. Marc Lavoie. Did I do it right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, I did it right.
Nailed it.
Marc, thank you so much for taking the time to jam with me today.
I'm really happy to be here today, so it's good.
Hey, for everyone out there that's listening or watching and may not know kind of how you got started in the industry and kind of what you're up to right now, if you kind of give us that 2-minute origin story that is Marc Lavoie.
Yeah.
And we'll get started there.
I'll spare you the Lavoie next time if you want.
I love it. It's great.
you got it right, so it's fine. Well, 2 minutes. I got to make it quick. I've kind of been in automotive all my life, if you will. I started when I got out of school, high school, if you will. I didn't know I could actually go work into the automotive industry, but I always have been like a really big fan of the industry, really big fan of cars, obviously. And, I started a program and ended up meeting one of my friends' dad at some point at the gym. And he told me, you know what, we're going to see that school down near Toronto. And it's a school about the automotive business. I know you really like cars and everything. I've known you for like 6 years now. So there's a spot in the car if you want to hop in. So that was, I believe, on the Tuesday. We left on the Friday. And I was registered on the Sunday. On the Monday, I would tell my then girlfriend that I was going away. I was going to live in Ontario now.
Nice.
So that didn't end well. So fast forward today, I was able to, do a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. I did work in dealerships in sales and F&I. I was at Audi USA for a year and a half before I got some troubles with my visa. And I also worked into a really big agency in Canada for the last 6 years, providing online marketing services, websites. So I really got to learn a lot about the industry and how to help more dealers today. And 7 months ago, I started my own business, which is called Autobahn Academy. I just thought I was kind of ripe or ready to take it on my own, go my own way, and actually made the jump. And today I'm helping more and more dealers make sense of the online business around the automotive industry, if you will. So
that's cool. That's cool. And stepping out and doing your own thing, man. Everyone always says like, "Hey, congratulations, you're doing your own thing." I don't think anybody realizes how hard this is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I get this asked all the time, right? People come to go, Jay, I've been in the automotive industry for a while and I'm thinking about stepping out and doing my own thing. I'm like, are you really? Like, do you really know what that means, what that grind is? It's different, being in the dealership and, having the support of the dealership and support of working for another agency. It's like working for others. It's a totally different experience, right? Yeah,
it is. It is. And, I guess you have to feel ready and you have you got to have some kind of plan. I don't know. In my own way, I was thinking about it. Well, I had been thinking about it for maybe 2 years, if you will. I also had like a lot of good coaching from the people around me. So I don't know, like preparing in advance and asking questions before I actually make the move really helped me out, because it's it's stuff. It needs planning and you need to align kind of your revenue generating activities versus non-revenue generating activities. And there's a fine line in between both that's actually hard to find somewhere, but I'm getting better, and I've not figured out, I didn't figure out anything yet, but every day is kind of different, and I'm really enjoying it.
I think that's the key. It's through the act of doing, right?
Yeah.
And I find that's where we're getting into training and coaching, right?
Yep.
Like it's the act of doing, just to sit there and train someone on the activities is one thing.
Yeah.
But actually doing those activities and coaching them through their efforts, it's an entirely different game. And, I'll go into a lot of dealerships and I ask them about their training or coaching activities. They're like, I don't know, we train our staff. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. What are you training them on? And I come to find out that really all they're doing is just training on the activities. Meaning like, here's the worksheets that you fill out. Here's the brochures. There's the keys. And I'm like, that's not training. That's not coaching someone. So look, everybody's kind of, I would say, philosophy when it comes to training and coaching is slightly different. I'm curious what your approach to training and coaching is.
Yeah, it's a good question. I've been thinking about that a lot for the last, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks, because I'm starting to get feedback from our clients, right? So it's nice with the platform. I can see who's doing what, so I can actually see what content is of interest and not. And there's something I'm bringing on the platform is actually productivity training for dealers. It's not about the activity itself. It's easy to be busy, right? So
it is.
You can be busy all day, like 9 to 9, and you haven't done anything in the end that matters, at least to make the business better or you like better in your business. So it's nice because it's at the same time, it's an introspection. No, I'm looking at what I'm doing. Am I being productive? What am I seeing? And what I'm kind of learning for two right now. And I'm trying to, help other dealers do the same thing in their own business. Because,
I think that's a great topic. In fact, that's something we could probably dive a little more into, right? Is productivity. Look, let's talk about this new year since we are in the new year.
Yeah.
I've had a ton of strategy sessions for this new year, and I have reviewed a ton of forecast. And look, I don't have a whole lot of people that are forecasting substantial increases. Like the market's getting tighter. Our activities and our productivity, all right, on a day-to-day basis, in some cases, or I think actually probably in a lot of cases, is going to make the biggest difference in our efforts moving forward. So let's talk a little bit about productivity. When you think of productivity, where do you see a dealership has the most opportunity in increasing their productivity efforts?
I think it all comes down to systems. I often like to compare dealerships with football teams. I don't know if it makes sense for anyone.
No, it totally does. I am a big fan of the sports analogy.
It does for me, right? So I'm just seeing like some teams, you qualify them like you'll call a head coach like a system head coach. So whatever the player is on the field, the outcome is about the same. In the NFL, we've seen that with. I'm gonna take the Patriots for an example. I'm not a huge fan of the Patriots, to be honest. But you got to give it to them. They've been winning year in and year out with a great system. And with the turnover that's going on into dealerships today, I think you got to have a system. So whoever's going to be in place, it has to be at least like the output has to be at least good. If it's not going to be great every time. And that only happens if the objectives are clear. And the objectives are going to be clear if you don't have too many. I've seen that. You did, I'm sure, but attending.
It's true though. Look, you can't hit a goal if you don't set a goal.
No.
Right? Like it's pretty straightforward. And like, we're talking about productivity. How do we measure productivity if we don't actually know what the end goal and objective is?
No, it's true. And it's kind of it's nice because over at Christmas, my girlfriend she gave me like this big thick book on how to organize and try to like plan my whole year on the business side, because I tend to have like a lot of ideas. And I over time I created my what I call the graveyard. I got a book where I'll list every single idea I got, whether it's in my business or it's something else, like the shiny object, right? And it's getting thicker now, but it's hard to organize and to narrow down on what really matters for today, this week, this month, because it changes, right? So I'm really in a process right now of trying to figure this out for my business, and I think it's the reality of most dealerships, and it's perfectly fine. I think it's you got to find what's fun into, setting goals and achieving them, because if you set too many goals, you won't be reaching any of them, right? So you got to go for maybe 1, 2, or 3 goals. I don't know.
No, it's true though. So like, no. But all right. So let's say this. We'll reverse engineer this, right? Once we have the goal and objective, what's really key when you see in professional sports is the routine.
Yep.
Like, we have to think of when we go into the dealership, it's game day.
Yep.
Monday through Friday, I show up to the dealership. I don't care what position you play at the dealership. I don't care if you're the receptionist, the service advisor, the salesperson, or the technician. All right. It's game day.
Yep.
And it's, so how do we, if we're going to be productive during the game, all right, there are a lot of things that need to happen prior to that. Setting the goal and objective is one. Creating and maintaining a routine, I think, is absolutely key as well.
Yep.
Now, where have you seen, you train and coach on with these dealerships? What kind of routines would you typically train and coach on?
What do you mean, on the sales side, or
yeah, sure. Where you think the most amount of value is moving into this new year? Okay.
Yeah. What I think is really left on the side is the people we actually know. Okay. We tend to, and I've been working with a company that we've been generating lots of leads, and at some point you gotta, like, creating the own lead is fun, but it's only a part of the job. So after that, you got to try to qualify where they stand. Okay. And more volume means more opportunities to actually fill the buckets. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the number one opportunity for dealers today, is that they're not doing that as much as they should, to try to qualify those new opportunities, or actually the people they already know in their database, try to revive some of them. I don't know if you ever seen
with an existing database. I know a lot of times people give me crap because I feel like I'm the heavy and I'm always giving dealerships a hard time. Mm-hmm. But let's look at the communication efforts to our current clients.
Yeah,
it's crap. It's total crap. All right. The only time we ever seem to want to communicate with a customer is when we want to sell them something.
Yeah. And sometimes it's even too late as well. So.
And a lot of times the timing's not even correct. It's the method and what we're doing. It's like, if you want to be, let's talk about being productive. You want to be productive, all right, with your communication efforts, to your existing clients.
Yep.
Then, stop bombarding them with just nothing but promotional information. Like bring some freaking value to the communication efforts.
Yep. Well, as much as there's, a schedule, we're trying to get to find a perfect schedule before, when we get a lead to the sale, we should put more effort into the after the sale schedule, if you want. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's going to be more spaced out, but you should still try to reach out once in a while with some value and not expecting nothing in return, right? Because if you do, you'll sound annoying for your client, and it's fine. I've seen some dealers actually have that kind of process in place, but maybe is it 2% of dealers, 1%, and the other 98% are missing big time, because it's really, really expensive to win a customer over today. If they're making money, it's not a lot. Sometimes they just bite the bullet and understand they'll lose money on, conquest deals, if you want. But the whole game is trying to sell them again. So.
Well, I had a dealership just recently I was talking to rent a private sale. And if you follow my content, you know how much I love those things.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, it just didn't work. It just didn't work. And I'm like, well, come on. Like, really? I mean, it's only like the 9th time in the last 12 months that you've asked these people to upgrade or trade in their vehicles. You know, I think what it is that our goal and objectives seem to be so self-serving that we're surprised that when we ask the customer to do something that is actually probably in their best interest, they don't want to do it.
Yeah. Their BS wall is so high, right? So it's sad because like most dealers, they're really trying to do the right thing and they're running a good business. Don't get me wrong. It's really, I don't get how dealerships do it. It's a crazy business to be in. There's 60,000 moving parts. It's something else. I realized at some point I was not built for that. So I respect that a lot, but it's at some point it's also easier from the outside perspective to see everything that's going on. And I think that's the fine line, like with coaching and consulting. Some people hate consultants and coaches. I get why, but at the same time, sometimes it's just fun to have like team up and, you know.
Well, why do people hate training and coaching? I actually don't understand, because let's go back to the analogy of a professional sports team, right? Look, nobody, all right, in professional sports got anywhere without training and coaching. Like you just don't take a group of individuals, slap them into a room and expect them to perform. That doesn't happen.
No,
like it doesn't. You know, but for some odd reason, that's how we want to hire. Like that's how we want to hire. That's how we want to employ people. You know, like I the other day I heard from one of our dealer principals. He goes, Jason, I just need like a 20 car a month guy. What the hell is a 20-month car guy? So you're just expecting to find someone that already has all the training and coaching efforts required to consistently, all right, be productive enough to put out that kind of output? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't exist. You know, it's like, and the other thing too, it's that's that individual mentality. That's that, what do we call it? The superstar mentality. Okay. So it's like, you know, in our industry, we're constantly wanting to hire, all right, superstars, but we forget that, but in the same breath, we'll talk about the team. So in 1 minute, we're talking about how we want to hire just superstars, you know, and then the next minute we're talking about how, you know, the team's important. I got to focus on the team. It's like, well, but you're not actually focusing on the team, you know? So like, I think what it is kind of comes down to what we were talking about earlier. It's all about goals and objectives. So, you know, if our goal and objective when it comes to our training and coaching is self-serving, then how can you expect that training and coaching to actually be relevant or helpful to the customer?
Yeah.
So how do we train and coach people that is customer centric? That's my question.
Yeah, that's a good one. What I'm currently trying with Autobahn Academy, I'm trying to simplify the whole coaching thing, because I get why it can be hard for a dealership to go off site. At least like a part of the team, maybe it happens and everything, but sometimes it's hard to like empty a dealership, like empty the whole team, you know what, right?
Though, it's excuses. I know you're on one side of it. Maybe. I get to be on another side of it. Yep. It's bullshit. I think it's excuses.
You think?
Right? Yeah, 100%. Like a dealership's telling me, well, I can't train or coach my team because, well, then nobody's going to be here at the dealership. You know what? If you want a well-trained and a well-coached team, then you're going to find a way to do it. It's just, I know I'm a little, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little salty today.
No, but it's okay, because you're trying to provide results. So, you know, it's fine. What actually happened with Autobahn Academy is I wanted to do like a quick, like half a day thing with like a handful of people, try to do like a session and everything. And I got this objection that I'm not gonna send people over. So I'm like, you know what? I got a better idea. I'm actually gonna do it online, and I'm gonna test that, right? So instead of having like 6 modules, the whole thing, I'm dripping emails with training modules once in a while to the teams, and they actually use it a lot. It's like the feedback's it's been amazing, and I think making it simple for them, because the training is actually hitting the salespeople, hitting the FNIs, hitting the managers, the dealer principal. And I think making it simple for them actually helps them, because I get why it's a crazy business. At some point, they don't want to, like, they know they should, get help on specific subjects. They should be going out to that training day, that symposium, but it's easy to justify why they can't as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And so you have two choices at that point. So either you play a game or you don't. But some people will actually enjoy coming out of the dealership, the craziness of the dealer at some point, and it's fun. And the other guys just want to stay in and do everything and be busy and or productive, depending on. So.
Well, I just think it's up to the dealership's commitment. Like there has to be a commitment level here. It's. I find that this time of year, is a great time of year operationally to really focus on our training and our coaching efforts, right? Look, bottom line, it's cold, right? Not as many people are going to be coming into the dealership. This is a phenomenal time of year to really focus on our operations and our processes, and, make sure that, when it comes, hunting season, that, we're prepped and ready to really play the game the way that we're supposed to play the game. But again, it comes down to that commitment. We have to commit to it. It's like, I don't want someone just to half-ass train or coach their team just so they could check off the proverbial box that they did it. Like, I checked off the box. I did it. I sent them to a course. Like, what? Look, training and coaching
knowing why it's important. Like, it's important is
that's a good one.
More important, right? Because I had that frustration with overtime. With we sold software. It was like really complete software we had, and at some point it was getting left on the table or left unused. So I figured at some point it's not a matter of software or tools. It's actually a matter of mindset, and mindset, bad or good, like especially bad, is costing a lot of money to dealers today, and poor them, because they'll be pitching $300,000 on Google, on AdWords on one side, and on the other side, leads are left unattended, right? Don't know if you saw my post this week, but I was trying to shop for a car, but I just can't. Like, nobody gets back to me, and I'm not that known to be. Like, people don't think I'm mystery shopping now. They don't know me. So what's the reason? Okay. So, I mean, it was unboxing day. So I figured
it's because we don't have a golden objective. As a dealership, we have to find the why, right? Why do we train and coach? To your point about, like, let's talk about spend for a minute here, because I have heard this comment several times, right? Well, it's expensive.
It is.
Training and coaching is expensive. Well, but it's more expensive not to do it than it is to do it. So let's make that real clear. But, I'm pushing everyone right now as we're getting into this new year. There's a big push, it's like everybody wants more, but no one wants to spend more. I understand that. I've been on the other side of the table. I've ran dealerships, so I get that feeling. Now, look, for me, there are 3 reasons why someone ultimately buys a car. Okay. It is product, people, and operations. Now, I use the word operations, but what does that mean to the consumer? It means experience. So operation and experience for me are words that go hand in hand. Okay. If you go to any dealerships, right, Google reviews right now, you're going to find almost nobody, all right, in the Google reviews talking about the product. And that's the only reason that they bought the car. No, you're going to see review after review after review about how amazing the experience was, how great, Josh, the salesperson, or Dean, the salesperson, or Suzanne, the salesperson, was to them. Like,
makes sense too.
It's the people and the experience, all right, that is really completing that transaction. All right. It's not the product, but all of our ad dollars, every dollar we put out there gets focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's just the product.
Yeah. But let's face it, cars and vehicles today are commodities, and people are starting to understand that because they're shopping at 6 dealerships. They're going to say they're going to get the same Nissan Murano SV with those 19-inch wheels, whatever. Yep. So what's the differentiator between all those places? Because, by the way, they're all pushing the same promo now. So as a human being, where am I going to get like the best connection? And it's a matter of luck at some point as well, because you might end up like getting answered by the worst salesperson in that dealership over there, and like the best on this one. And, it doesn't translate to what's actually like the dealer is actually doing inside anyways. But, it's I think it's what makes the difference between good dealers today and dealers are still struggling with trying to find their sales, because this year I can't wait to see this year how this year unfolds, because it's going to be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard. 2019 has been hard. New cars gross profits is down as well, so they got to do better, and this is why I think, at least, and you are, and we are in great position for our businesses, because we can actually help shave a few dollars. And as they think it's expensive, I think it's really expensive to own a delership. But
it's
are
where
they
you're
making
investing
money?
Yes, it's where you're investing the money. Where are they going to want to invest their money this next year?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to push people to invest money into their operations and their people, which is kind of ironic because I run a marketing agency. So I'm literally like, just got
it is, but at the same time, you want your clients to succeed. If your clients succeed, your business will succeed as well.
That's right. It's. I don't think necessarily moving into this next year that there's going to be any type of magic bullet. All right, from a marketing perspective, that's going to help dealerships sell more cars, service more cars, sell more parts. Right? Like I just don't see that. There's no magic bullet out there.
No.
So, I really, really push dealerships to look internally within their operations and their people. All right, and how much are we investing into those? All right, that's really going to give us the results moving into 2020. Now, here's what I'm curious is, let's talk about training and coaching. When there's so many things to train and coach on.
It's pretty wide.
I mean, it's a big, this is not a small thing. I actually find marketing is a little easier because it's pretty tangible. It's like, I got Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram, LinkedIn ads. It's like that. That's my space. It's a nice little small vertical. All right. But training and coaching can be a big thing. If people that are listening right now are watching to this and they're not in their head with us. Yeah, I agree. Like I need to be investing more into my training and coaching. Mm-hmm. Where should they start? Where do you see the lowest hanging fruit that brings the most ROI in training and coaching?
Yeah. I think I'm going to take the sports team analogy once again, but I'm going to shift over to hockey. It's, I think you got to start from the back, from what's closer to you and closer to your chest and to your vest, right? That would be the sales. So what happens before, just right before the sales? So let's say we're talking about getting more clients into the door. Then you want to sell those people. So if you take a step back from the sale, what happens before the sales, right? It's going to be the appointments. It's going to be the person showing up in the showroom. So we're investing a ton of money to make it happen. Now let's watch how it's actually unfolding. And you talked about the experience, and I think it's you're on the right track with that, because it makes a difference. I've seen some dealerships invest really little money and make huge sales numbers because they were doing things right, because they could control the input and the output of selling activities, if you will. Mm-hmm. They could match. Over time, I called it in my head, at least, the clutch effect. Because some dealers will have a ton of leads, but no fulfillment, because you got to fulfill on these leads, right? And fulfillment will take a contact. It will take an appointment. It will take an actual, sale in the showroom, aside of the ones happening online, but it's a really small portion now. But, I think how people interact with other people is the way to go now. And it's not a secret why sales training is really popular. If you put sales training into YouTube, you'll see 100, maybe thousands of videos with 100,000 of views each, just because people don't know where to start. There's a lot of resources around that. So I think I would start at that point. And
so you start with the sales process. Now, and specifically lead response or communication efforts. What would you say? Communication?
Communication, yeah.
Okay. I'm actually 100% there with you. I mean, I can't think of a dealership out there that I've met or have done business with that couldn't benefit from some additional communication, coaching, and training. So, let's talk a little bit. What is your approach to training and coaching a dealership's communication efforts?
Yep. So if you want to set like a simple process and simple, let's call it a goal, okay? Increase or get better at communication with our clients. Some dealers are so far from this idea that like the smallest thing to do is just to set up like some kind of 30, 45 days process and say, you know what, you got to do this and this and that. And then try to add some value, I don't know if you can say that, be mechanical about it, whatever they respond or not, you keep going, adding more value, bringing more information to the client's, shopping experience, if you will. And just by doing that, you'll set yourself apart from the pack, because no dealers doing that. They're all pushing prices. And when you come in, and people actually know they can walk into a dealership, they know they can do that by now. It's all good. You don't need to remind them every 2 days. I don't think so.
No. So I'm with you here, right? I love the idea of bringing more value, all right, to our communication efforts. Can you give me a couple of examples of what you mean by bringing more value in those communication efforts?
It's pretty simple. With the amount of information we have on hand, right? It's easy to say, you know what, I get a lead for a Jeep Wrangler one day, and I say, you know what, this is, I'm here to help you. The next day you say, by the way, I had a demo like this 2 weeks ago or 3 months ago, and this was my favorite feature. Let me know if you have any questions. 5 days later, you can send them a link to YouTube for a review that's favorable for the Wrangler, and you can go on and on and on like this. And so once in a while, you got to ask for the sale, which is the appointment if they want to come in. But you can also say, you know what, I'm offering like a turnkey solution for car salespeople. You can actually do everything on the phone if you want. You empower them, I think. And
I think that's key. Let's go a little more into that, right? Because I do believe that there is value, right? There's value in the product. There's 3 reasons why someone buys a car, right? Product, experience, and people. Okay. So there's value in the product, and we need to, I agree with you. I'm surprised I am having to say this. It's 2020, but in our communications efforts,
we go back to basics.
I know, right? Like we do need to be building better value within the product, but we also need to be identifying value in doing business with me as an individual, the people portion, right? And then doing value with the dealership being the operations portion.
Yep.
Look, at the end of the day, we want a customer to schedule an appointment, right?
Yep.
It's pretty straightforward. That's what we want. But we don't give them any value in actually doing that. Like, what is the value proposition, for me being a customer to schedule an appointment with you?
Yeah. Yeah. Because let's be honest, they don't know us. They don't like us for the most part. The automotive industry has a bad rap for a few bad and good reasons. And I on my end as far as I'm concerned, I want to make it a little bit better for people, for everyone at least. Because if you know a little bit more about how you could sell some products using online techniques, you make it a little bit easier on your staff. You make it a little bit easier on your customers, and it's a little bit more fun, because done properly, it's a really nice purchase, buying a car, right? It'll give you it'll bring so much joy to your life, if you will, and we should concentrate on that. Otherwise,
no, I agree with you. The vehicle can bring a huge amount of joy to an individual, but for some reason, the experience doesn't. It doesn't. Like, for a lot of people, there's a lot of bad experiences out there in the automotive industry.
Yeah.
And
I know.
And I think that's where the value. So we're talking about like increasing, our appointment ratio through value-driven communication efforts. So what would you say 2 or 3 value points for a dealership needs to communicate to a prospective lead?
Well, one thing for sure is trying to understand and show empathy. Trying to understand your own customer will help you, and it's true with car sales, and it's true with B2B sales. You're in the same boat. If you want to sell your services to someone, I guess you have to ask questions. Otherwise, you assume you know everything, and you're going to tell them how it's going to be. And guess what? It's not going to be the way you think. And customers today are smart. They've been shopping for 6 months before they send you that lead. So you better keep that in mind when you're trying to advance through the sale. And there's a reason why they communicate with you today. So you got to keep asking questions until you find the right one, because everyone's different. Some dealers will get 1,000 leads a month. Those 1,000 people will not buy at the same time in the same time frame at the same rate, have the same comfort to buy online or offline.
Sure.
Some people won't buy at all. You got to weed them out and try to not get rid of them, but at least push back, like try to understand if they're going to buy this week or in 6 months, because it's a client. It's a prospective client. Just got to make sure you put your energy at the right spot and on the right people as well. So that's a big point, but I don't know. I think it covers what has to be done today. Like just asking questions will set you on the right path, because I don't know. It's the way I've always worked with car buyers, or even with dealers in my time. So back in the days, it was 9 years ago. I worked into an Acura dealership in 2010. No, that would make it 10 years ago. But I don't know if you remember what was the lineup of at Acura 10 years ago, but it was the really famous ZDX.
Yep.
The MDX was not matching the 3 German SUVs. The upgraded Civic was not making the cut, really. So you had to find ways to actually make sales, right? So what I actually started doing is take like the whole database, this whole secret here, and I started just calling people, asking for a question, and confirming information. I would not pitch them any monthly payment to replace their own car. It was a little bit more tedious, but at the same time, I doubled up my sales almost overnight doing this, because they would ask me in the end if they could come in and take a look at the new TLX, or the new, it was not the TLX at that point. That was the TSX, or,
But you build value through communicating on a one-to-one person.
Trying to understand.
So that's the other part, right? So there's dealership needs to identify their value proposition in doing business with them. And the fact that, we just say we're number one in customer service, that's not enough. Like that's not tangible for, for
it's not real for anyone until they see it by.
There isn't thing there. Like I saw in an email response the other day, in the email, they said that they were a family-owned business. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like, no one cares the fact that you're a family-owned business anymore. Now, what does it mean to you as a dealership that you're family-owned? How does that get translated out to your operational efforts? That's something that people care about. But the fact that in the bottom of this guy's email was like, family owned for the last 32 years. It's that's not a reason for people to want to come do business with you.
It's a good start, but it's lacking substance. And you gotta show why it's important and why it makes the difference. Are you hosting like a big barbecue? And I don't know, like you got to go really further if you want to prove someone that your family. There's a big difference between having a family mindset and family owned. I won't get into this, but it's got to be better. You got to do better in 2020 at least. Like having like free coffee and free Wi-Fi. I mean, I don't understand why we still see that as a value proposition.
No.
In in 2010, maybe in 2007, maybe, because data was kind of expensive, but now you got free Wi-Fi.
Like
Okay.
it's just no one cares. It's not something that brings value necessarily to them. So I'm with you here. I think dealerships, and look, it's not an easy question. Like this is something that's going to take a dealership time, for them to define out what their, operational or experience advantage is over visiting another location. I find the easiest way for people to do that is that, look, we all know what we do, right? Hey, we move cars, we move metal, we service cars, we sell parts, and we all know what we do. And for a lot of times, sometimes we know how we do it, documented or not. That's kind of an iffy, right? But why we do it the way we do it is the value to the consumer. That's what needs to be communicated to the consumer from an operations perspective, right?
Yep. And it's really what could be put up front when you're sending communication with your existing or prospective clients, right? Your prospects, because you like right away, since no one's doing it, you'll get an advantage of actually showing why you care and why you do it and why you're in business. I think we're starting to see that in businesses outside of automotive. Business owners and managers or really big companies are really taking a stand now, or being more present, being a bit more, I don't know, the attractive character, if you will, of their own business, and it draws people to them. I'm going to take like a crazy example, but look at Tesla, the amount of things they have done so far because of the character that is Elon Musk. You can like the guy or hate the guy. I mean, remove Elon Musk, or at least like stick with the same guy, but leave him in his office and not going anywhere, and not like Tesla wouldn't be where they are today.
I agree 100%.
I think we can learn about that. And we're entering an era where people want to see flaws about people. We've seen that into superhero movies. I don't know.
No, it's true though. But actually, to your point, what it is people want a story.
Yeah.
They want a story. They want something that they can chew on, something that they can take with them, something that, when someone asks them, where they bought their car from, they can share that story. They can give that story, right?
Yep.
And that comes down to so guys, what we're talking about right now, if you're listening and watching this, we're really talking about value, and the value comes from that story that we tell them, and the impact of that story, the stickiness of that story, where they're going to want to share that with someone else. The story of the product is pretty well defined by the manufacturer, and that's cool. Right. Still think the dealership's got to do a decent job of telling that story. The story of the dealership. All right. That's that value proposition in our communication efforts. And we have to define that story of the dealership, right? The third one, and this is the next one I want to get into with you, is the story of why do business with me as a person.
Yep.
Like as it literally making a human-to-human connection, okay, and saying like, this is why you should come do business with me. There are 7 Nissan stores in my town, all right, that probably equates to around 100 Nissan salespeople. All right, here's why here's why you should come do business with me. When you're training on coaching, what would you say to someone who's trying to identify that type of value proposition?
I think, since it's a people business in the end, right? Because the dealership's quite the same, the car's quite the same, are quite the same. I think you can take a moment and expose your strengths and flaws, like we just said. And I saw a guy into like a Mazda store 4 years ago. I thought it was brilliant, but so simple, and nobody's doing it because they're all shy. Like the guy would tape just a video. He started with one video. He sat in a car with his phone. No studio here, and he said he just started, put your red button and said, hi, my name is Frank. I'm here to help you at XYZ Mazda. If you got any questions, we'll be in touch. I'll be the associate to help you. That's it. So he would send that to people over and over. And he would do it in French and English for start. Okay. And the guy was French, from France. So he had an accent pretty much like me, right? So you could tell he was not English. But he started doing that, and he saw a lift. And then at some point, he told himself, you know what? I can't be sending that video at night when I answer leads because it's dark outside, and on my video, it's bright. So he redid the video. So now he had 4 videos. And then a couple of weeks went on and still saw a lift. Okay. Just because, and I saw the video. It's not against him, but it was far from perfect. But that was the reason why it was perfect, because it was real.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a salesperson. I'm a car salesperson. I'm not a TV guy, you know. I'm not a TV guy. You should see the amount of bloopers I have on my computer doing those training videos. It's crazy. But then he redid the whole thing with every single model. I'm here in the Mazda 3. I'm here in the Mazda 5, MX-5. You know, the whole thing. And just by doing that, he, like, from his mouth, not mine, he doubled his appointment rate. Didn't change anything else, but he was able to create a connection really, really quick, and people would appreciate him taking the time to do a video. But he actually had 20 on hand, and that's it. Super scalable, you know. And
because it introduces him as a person. So look, you can understand, like, I can't, 80% of what we say doesn't come out in black and white text, like I'm not going to be able to say it, in black and white text. My body language and my tonality is what's going to show my passion and my drive and my intent to want to serve you as an individual.
Yep.
You're never going to get that with an email. You're just not. For
as much as I like email marketing, it's not translating. It's
not. Well, at least not in black and white, right? So not in the black and white text form of email marketing, right? So if there's any salespeople out there, managers listening to this, and you guys really want to kind of step up your game this year, like that's a mandate. I'm not even saying that's an option. I'm just straight up saying it's a mandate. All right, you need to shoot a video. You need to send that person a video because it's going to show you as an individual. It's going to show your passion through your tonality. It's going to show your desire the intent to want to serve someone, all right, through your body language. You are never going to get that in the email. You have to start communicating with video.
Yeah, there's no excuse because we got the smartphones that are better than like production grade cameras like 10 years ago. YouTube is 100% free. It's easy to do like at least one video, you can upload that under 5 minutes. Okay, no excuse there either. So you got the cars, you got the setup, like everything that's hard into that production or the production of those videos. You got it. You got the cars. That's a hard
these
part.
Devices, like they've suffocated every single excuse we have.
No,
it's all there.
You're paying big bucks for your CRM on one side, so why not try to use it this way? If you're going to set up automated emails, sending probably 1,000 emails per week, maybe, or per month, maybe if you're a smaller store, try to make it as good as you can. There's no excuse anymore. That's I know because I started my business on this premise. There's no excuse. I want to get my message to more people, and I was helping 1, 2, 3 person at a time in the past, but now I'm able to send 1,000 emails per month. It's just the way it is.
And I love that. That kind of seems to be the overall theme of this entire podcast, right? It's like there's no excuse. There's just no excuse. Okay, you want to execute. You want to up your game. You want to hit your forecast this year. All right, you need to bring more value to the customer. Yeah. Right. And it's not going to be value in just the product. Depending on your manufacturer, it really may not be the value in the product. Okay. The value is going to have to come, right, from your operations experience. Okay. And from that person to person connection.
Yep.
Hey, Marc, thank you so much for taking the time to jam with me today. I know that's our time.
Thanks to you.
This was a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure we're going to do another one of these. For everyone out there that's listening or watching and would love to connect with you and learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way to do so?
I've been trying to focus on the two main areas. I've been trying to put more content out on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find there. It's Marc Lavoie. I don't know if you'll write it down somewhere.
I'll put the text in there.
Yeah, good, perfect. Okay, so that, and you can find me at autobahnacademy.com as well, where all the content, the cheat sheets, the resources are. If you want to personally connect, feel free to send me an email or at mark@autobahnacademy.com as well.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Marc, so much for taking the time to have me today. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you.